everybody, welcome to the Outlast Episode 4 recap. My name's Alex, and I'm here with my cheeseball friend, Hannah.
Hi, guys.
Hannah, tell me, the viewers, what you told me earlier about this cheeseball experience.
Well, I've had these cheese balls since the middle camp, and I really think it's probably the most impressive thing I've ever done.
It's a lot of cheese balls.
Finished, almost finished the entire thing of cheese balls. Single-handedly. I had a little bit of help from a small, mobley. But
That's
other than that.
Like 2 gallons of cheese balls.
Yeah. This has been my lunch for 2 months, guys.
Balanced lunch of cheese and air.
I like the air. It really adds something.
Yeah. It's an important factor. Anyway, thanks for watching our Outlast recap. We just finished episode 4, titled, I Got Nothing to Worry About, I think is what it's called. One thing I want to do is keep track of who quotes each episode and, award some special prize for whoever has the most episode quotes or something.
Mm-hmm. Whose quote was it this time?
That was a Chuddy quote. I got nothing to worry about.
Oh.
I'm immune with Jimmy Joe.
Yeah. His interview is probably my favorite.
Yeah, that was a fun part.
Yeah.
So in episode 4, we just came off the previous episode where it got really chaotic at the Blue Tribe. Amaya got sent home with an idol in her pocket, or left back at camp, we learn. Lots of confusing votes and alliance shuffling. And then we come into this episode where it's pretty cut and dry. It's Winston all the way. Winston gets voted out. One thing that didn't make the episode that they talked a lot about was that alliance saying yeah, it's got to be Winston, but man, he was playing a pretty good game. He performed well in the challenges. Really, his fatal flaw, honestly, from vote 1, was sectioning himself off with the minority group rather than getting in more tightly with those numbers. Because if that's the case, maybe he ends up closer to that group than Lydia. I know that the ultimate reason was that he didn't vote alongside with that group at the last tribal, which made them unable to.
He had a good idea. It really was a great plan. To try to get one of those members out was genius. It just didn't work for him because there weren't enough people that were going to switch from that tribe or that group that they had formed. Especially on an already complicated vote and with the idol at play, that's a good time to make one of those big moves, trying to shake things up. Because there's already so many things that they're thinking about. Maybe you forget about the possibility, he could swing 2 people and actually kick one of us out. So it was a good try. It just didn't quite work out. I think Lydia did not vote with them like he expected them to. So Winston, 4th person voted out, but a good game, played a good game, performed well in challenges. He won 2 of the matchups at the challenge in the previous one. You saw him carrying the weight big time in the challenge today. I know.
Jumping all over those ropes.
Yeah.
Hannah, what were some of your favorite moments or takeaways from episode 4?
Honestly, I think seeing the Purple Tribe in this episode was one of my favorites. They're starting to get a little bored. Yeah. I think they're a little done with winning, which is kind of crazy. But also, I mean, I kind of get it. They've been sitting around. The other team has been going to tribal and forming this tight group, like we kind of see. And then the Purple Tribe is starting to start some drama and try to figure out what their plan is. Even talk of throwing the next challenge, which I don't know if you want to elaborate on.
Well, we should talk about that. We hear a couple different people talking about the idea of throwing a challenge that is intentionally losing so that they can vote someone out that they want to vote out. Now, in Real Survivor, this is a thing that happens from time to time. It doesn't always work out. In fact, it usually doesn't work out. Numbers are so important, but there are some times where it is valuable if you've got someone who is a big threat or who is really messing things up, that you can really 100% vote out and you want to lose a challenge to do so. It's sometimes a viable strategy, but we hear the narrative over there is Ben wants to throw the challenge to vote out Jake because Jake is a big physical threat, if there's a swap or a merge, that may become, your enemy instead of your person that's an asset.
Yeah.
And so he pitches that idea, and then those people that he pitches it to, Tess and Macy, namely, kind of spin that and like, okay, maybe we should throw the challenge, but let's do that and vote Ben out instead of voting Jake out, which is a smart kind of way of going along instead of being like, no, Ben. They're like, oh, yeah, let's do that, really lull him into kind of some confidence, and maybe he doesn't play the totem and they take him out. So I think that's what Macy and Tess were looking to do at this point.
I know, yeah. It's a smart strategy, honestly not bad. Like, I think it's funny, the rivalry between Ben and Jake. It's fun. It was fun to watch. It's fun to watch now also, but to be there and experience the little rivalry between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the thing that Ben said. He's like, Tess relays what Ben said, that like he wanted to vote Jake out and he would like replace him. I love that.
Be the new Jake.
I'm new Jake. But I think they're looking to play similar games. They're strong physically, and working the numbers. The thing, maybe a better strategy for Jake and Ben rather than being at odds with each other. Again, in Real Survivor, a thing that those kind of mold of players have started doing more consistently strategically is something called the Meat Shield Alliance. And what this is as a like strong, threatening male, you align yourself with other strong, threatening males so that now the like threat of you individually is like lessened by the group as a whole. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but like if I am the biggest threat and this other person is also a big threat, if we now line up, it makes that person potentially like the target before me,
And it's just that not all eyes are pointed straight at you. Even if it's equally divided, at least it's not like, oh, he's the target, it's it's like more divided.
Yeah. And it's easy as people who play like a similar game to look at someone else who is playing a similar game and see them as like a rival to what you're trying to do. But if you line up, maybe it's a better strategy. But I love being able to include some purple team stuff. There hasn't been a whole lot of that yet. They're enjoying their hammocks, chilling out in their rewards. They've named their immunity totem because they've received it so many times. Jimmy Joe. Yeah. Fun stuff over there. And we'll have to see how that all shakes out, because obviously nothing can come of it this episode because they didn't go to Tribal. And that idea to throw the challenge didn't really manifest until after the challenge, but we'll have to stay tuned into next episode to see if that's something that comes to fruition or not. Talk a little bit about the challenge a little more. That one was a pretty brutal challenge. It didn't maybe come through that way, but...
Yeah, it was, for sure.
The weaved rope took a long time to get through. It was like 10-ish minutes probably to unweave that.
It felt like forever.
Yeah, and lots of, jumping over things, moving your knees up, going under stuff. It would be pretty tiring, I would think.
Yeah, poor Winston had to do all the work for like 10 straight minutes.
Yeah, there's a shot too that we didn't realize this happened, or at least I didn't until later, but like Winston catches Lydia in the face with like his knee as he's trying to go over a thing. And we were like, I think it was later that night, it was like, everybody okay? And she was like, well, my head hurts. We're like, oh, are you just dehydrated? Have you been drinking enough? She's like, well, Winston kneed me in the face. So we're like, wait, what? When did this happen? So we went through concussion protocol. She was okay.
Lydia made it out all right.
Yeah. And then Chuddy rings all 3 of those rings.
Yeah, he got all 3 of them.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Yeah. That's a tough ring toss. It does come back into play later down the road, and you'll see that ring toss part is tricky. So he really put the team on his back at that point.
He did a great job.
Let's talk about the idea of the potential good to come of a small blue tribe at this point. Now, this is a story that I kind of tried to tell. I was telling you this earlier throughout this episode, is the idea of like the redemptive potential for the Blue Tribe, which we have seen, they're now half the size of the Purple Tribe. They haven't had any success. But it's a thing, I guess it's a story I'm including because it's a thing they talked about a lot. There's a lot of the like, man, this really sucks. We really want to win, but hey, like we are putting together like a strong remaining team,
Yeah.
And even though we're small, we can still have a really big impact.
Yeah, and we see a lot of like looking forward to the merge. Like they all know it's coming, and so they're talking a lot about like they're building this super strong group, this super strong alliance for when the merge does happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's true. Like they're getting rid of all of their weaker players and trying to build the strongest team that they can. So it's not like necessarily a bad thing. Like we see, like they all say in the episode, like we see there could definitely be some good that comes out of it. Whereas the purple team still has all of their original members as of right now. So they don't have, they weren't able to like form this strong alliance.
Right. Yeah, what it takes for them to have success moving forward is and they talk about it too, the expectation that the Purple Tribe, and we see it on the Purple Tribe, that there are like some factions and divisions that have formed so that when they get together in a merge or in a swap or whatever, the Purple Tribe doesn't say, okay, great, we're solid, 8-4, let's boot out these last 4 Blues and we're good, but instead they come and say, all right, listen, we've got to get Ben out. And Blue Tribe's like, deal. Yeah. Whatever you say, because it's not us. That is the hope that they have going into it. And there's something to be said about the trimming the fat. That's a bad expression. But like taking a tribe that is made up of a number of people who all have their own strengths and weaknesses, and narrowing it down to forming a stronger version of that, or at least a version of it with people who work well together and want to work with each other. And now, you're a stronger unit. You've seen from the very beginning Will, Jake, and Jenna really close, voting together, working together. Lydia, to a lesser extent, she actually could have been voted out by him last Tribal, but it seems like they've all made up for this episode at least. So 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, really strong group together. Yeah,
for sure. They've formed a pretty strong alliance.
Yeah. And so we will have to see how this all shakes out going forward. We don't want to fail to recognize Winston. Great game, Winston.
Yeah, a good effort. It was a good trying to break up that strong alliance.
It really was. Yeah. To Winston's credit, he was really the only person to this point, who has looked at a powerful group and instead of saying, well, I'll either like tag along with them or, well, I guess they're going to get me out eventually, at a point said, okay, let's break that up. You know? And that's what you have to do when you're not a part of it. I do want to talk about, though, like, it was kind of like funny and stuff, how he effectively gave up or whatever. And I was kind of hard on him and on the tribe because this sounds like cliche, but there really is always a way out, And it's really a bummer when someone just kind of like looks at their situation and says, well, I'm hosed. And the odds were definitely stacked against him in that moment. But he even mentioned it. There was a totem that we re-hid at the Blue Tribe. We didn't see him looking that much. I'm sure he looked some, but there was a chance for him to find an immunity totem. And if you work your strategic and social magic, maybe there's a way you can flip 2 people. Again, it would be really hard.
It would be, yeah.
But
I definitely see where he was coming from.
Yes.
Granted, like you said, there's always a way, but I can see where he's coming from.
To the point where he actually tried to vote for himself as like a joke.
Yeah, he did.
He's trying to write for himself. That is, of course, against the rules of Outlast. You have to cast a vote for someone else on your tribe who isn't yourself and isn't immune. So we shut that down, but it was still funny.
It was funny. He definitely tried to vote for himself.
I also failed to mention how the Purple Tribe pulled the big base at the challenge straight over. There was so much sandbag in that. It was very heavy.
They
still pulled it right over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
was a moment, I included the audio, I was like, unhook. Great.
Yeah.
So, Kudos to the Purple Tribe for breaking the first instance of breaking a piece of our challenges. Good work.
Yeah.
Anything else we didn't talk about?
I don't know. I don't think so. Honestly, this episode was pretty brief. I mean, it was an important episode.
It's a lot of stage setting, I think,
yes.
for what's coming next.
Yeah, exactly. But a little less eventful maybe than past episodes or future episodes, but it definitely was a needed episode.
Yep. Kind of a resetting of the board. All right, what are we working with after all the chaos?
Yeah, exactly.
And the storylines of the Blue Tribe and the Purple Tribe will definitely play out here sooner rather than later. So, next episode is coming next Sunday. We don't have the following Sunday off, do we? The 23rd?
The next one we have off is the 7th.
Great. So there is indeed an episode next Sunday.
Yes.
And it's a good one. The twists are coming.
Yes.
So stay tuned for episode 5. Thanks for watching. Get yourself some cheese balls.
Dude, they're at Sam's Club. They're pretty great.
Outlast is sponsored by cheese balls.
All right.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.